I have so many questions about prints, and I don't blame you because prints can be puzzling, they can be perplexing, they can be problematic. But today I'm going to show you how to decode the prints of spring 2024 so you go for the modern ones and avoid the dated ones. Stay tuned. Okay, today's gonna be a good one. By the end of this video, you're gonna understand how to tell the difference between a modern print and a dated print. So my name is Netta, I'm a personal stylist, and I'm the founder of the Ageless Style program. I used to be a fashion editor at magazines for years, working with celebrities and models, and today I just love to serve the women in my Ageless Style program. I've had over 5,000 members, and I help them build a wardrobe and a style that they love because I want you to feel beautiful and confident every single day. So welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today we're going to talk about prints because prints are all the things. They are the thing that stresses us out. First of all, disclaimer, you can just wear solids for the rest of your life. That's totally fine. It would be but it's totally fine if you just want. I know some people are just not print people, or maybe you just like very classic, simple prints like, simple stripes or whatever. Totally fine. But for the rest of us, for those of you who want to understand what makes a print modern, what makes it dated, what makes it flattering, what makes it all the things, that's what I'm here for. I've done several videos about prints, and I've done videos about like the scale of prints and the contrast level of prints. So this video isn't going to be about flattery. It's not going to be about those details. I will have those other videos linked, but it's already long enough without me putting all of that detail into it. So I'm really going to be talking about what's modern and what's not modern for spring 2024 and how we can tell the difference. So the first thing I want to say is that prints are personal. Prints are personal. This is the first tip. You may not love some of the prints that I'm showing you as modern prints. And that's where your personal style kicks in, right? Because they can be modern, they can be on trend, they can be in style, and you still don't love them. So what I want you to maybe work on or practice, and what I practice all the time as a personal stylist, is differentiating the difference between liking something and recognizing that it's modern. I definitely do not like everything that's modern. It's not to my personal style. Birkenstocks are a classic example. I recommend them all the time here. They are not my style at all, but I can recognize that they're modern and that they've got a cool look for people who love Birkenstocks, right? So we want to separate what is our style from what is in style. And that's kind of the key to figuring out modern prints. So first you determine if it's modern. Actually, maybe for you, it's the other way around. First you determine if you love it, then you determine if it's modern, right? Okay, so prints are personal. So for example, this shirt and this like over the top Hawaiian print, not my style at all, but it's super modern and super cool and super interesting. So if it's your style, go for it. If it's not, like with any of these, you're gonna skip it. Okay, the second thing I wanna share is that it's not just about the print, it's about the print and the piece together. So this is where it gets tricky because a mediocre top, like a top that's borderline, can be redeemed by a really cool print. It's a little bit harder to do it the other way around. If you've got a really cool, even a really cool simple, like for example, silk button down in an awful print is probably still going to be awful, but a mediocre shape of a top, a slightly frumpier shape of like maybe like a tunic. A tunic can be redeemed if it's, for example, a linen striped tunic is a perfect example of that. So it looks modern because it's linen and it's striped and it's very simple, but it's still a tunic. Whereas if you took, a really bad print and put it on a really good top, you're not going to have the same redeeming quality. So it's the interaction of the print and the piece that really makes a big difference. I'm going to show you this example. Polka dots are a huge trend for spring 2024. This top is polka dotted, but it's an awful style. So I guess this is a bad example. This is an example of a print maybe possibly working, but the piece not working. So the style is not great because it's got that weird little tie in the front. Do not buy the shirts with the ties in the front like this. They are not good. They are not cute. They're not modern. They're not what we're looking for right now. It is pointing directly in front of her personal spot. Like, I just don't get that. To be honest with you, the polka dot isn't great either. If this was a better polka dot, it would be a better option. And then if you tuck the top in or you tucked it under so that you don't have that little tie, that would be much better. But again, it's the interaction of the print and the piece. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that this is hard for me to say. It's really hard for me to say. And I know I'm going to get some pushback on this, but prints can be age specific. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there are prints that only work on really young people because they are inherently a little bit too mature, a little bit too classic, and bordering on matronly or frumpy looking. So if we were to wear them and we are not 22 years old, then I feel like it's going to look too mature. So we have to go all in on the pieces that look really modern and really fresh, because if I were to wear this dress, I would easily look 10 years older. I would look 10 years older if I put this dress on. However, this model, who is statuesque and probably 22 years old, can pull this dress off. Now, this is a high-end dress from Etro. Etro does prints better than almost anybody, but this style of dress is very, very classic. And when we wear, and of course they styled it in a modern way with the platform sandals, which absolutely you could do, but this is a hard dress. This is a hard dress to pull off after a certain age. So I hardly ever say that about anything, but some prints can be easier to pull off at 20 than at 60. And it's not because they're too modern, it's because they're too classic. And it's really, in this case, it's not the print itself as much, it's the print placement and the other details on this item. Okay, so are there safe prints? Are there safe prints? Yes, there are. Yes, there are. And I'm going to get into them with you in today's video. There's an exception to every rule. So I'm going to say, oh, this is safe, and then someone's going to find, but what about this one? And I'm going to say, you're right, that one's not safe. But most of these are safe. Most of these are safe. So, these are generally safe except when they're not. And again, we're going back to that good print on a bad item, right? So if one of these prints is on a really not so great item, you're going to want to pass on that. First print I want to talk about is an animal print. I love this leopard shirt. I love it, especially with this leopard skirt, but an animal print, a simple animal print, simple python, simple cheetah, simple leopard is having a moment right now, but also always in style, and you want to keep it simple. And the only thing you don't want to wear with leopard is a lot more leopard. So like with this leopard outfit, looks like a leopard two-piece dress. You probably wouldn't do leopard shoes and a leopard bag and leopard earrings and whatever. So I love leopard. I love cheetah. I love python. They are elegant and cool and timeless and modern. What you want to do is you want to keep them simple. So you don't want leopard that's also embellished, that also has a bunch of other stuff going on. And you want a neutral in your animal prints. So it can be a neutral with a color, but you want one neutral in your animal print. You don't want a multicolored animal print. Again, it's like degrees, right? It's already funky enough. You don't need to do a lot more to it to make it cooler. The next thing that I think, a next print that is generally safe is a botanical print. So it can be a more artistic, leafy inspired design like this one, or it can be a more direct like palm leaf print or leafy print or botanical flower print. But botanical prints tend to be perennials. They tend to always be in style, and they especially tend to come out around springtime, and I love them. So botanical prints, generally safe, except when they're not. Bold stripes. You know how I feel about bold stripes. I'm obsessed with bold stripes. And if you feel like a bold stripe is not for you, I will just tell you, you are wrong. Just kidding. Why don't you try, instead of a horizontal stripe, if you feel like that's not for you, try a vertical stripe. But I just love stripes. I just love stripes. They're so spring, but they're also all year round. And they are really one of the easiest prints to get right in terms of picking a modern version. Like, it's hard to go wrong. Just keep the stripes simple and put it on a really modern silhouette. You cannot go wrong. Stripes are amazing. Stripes are amazing. So I love this striped sweater. I think this one's from Mango. Everything is going to be linked in a catalog below. The next next print that is generally safe is a black and white or navy and white print. So when you're looking at a floral, or you're looking at any kind of print, stripe, floral, paisley, whatever, botanical print, black and white, navy and white are generally on the safe side, except when they're not. But usually they are, but sometimes they're not. But most of the time they are. So I'm going to show you even like a borderline black and white print on a modern outfit is going to look better than other prints. So you have to look again at the interaction of the print and the piece. So here, this dress, this is a black and white print. I don't love the print, but if the print was on a silk blouse, it would be perfect. It would be perfect. But instead, the print is on a dress that is already kind of like the dress is off. It's not a great dress. That's not a modern dress silhouette. And then they've put the two prints on it. Now they have styled it in a modern way, so it makes it look better. Is it awful? No. But this next one is so much better. This next one is so much better. So I hope you can see the difference between the first black and white print and then the second one, which is more black and cream. You can see the difference between the dresses themselves, the silhouettes themselves, and then you can also see the difference between the patterns. And I just feel like the second one is just a much more modern look overall. Okay, so I talked about safe prints. Let's talk about dangerous prints. Let's talk about bad prints. Let's talk about prints that are really hard to get right. The first, and this is one I would just say a hard pass, hard no. And this really is kind of what was wrong with that etro dress that I showed, that fancy dress, is bordered prints. Prints that are just on the border, or where you've got a contrasting print on the border of a printed top. This is an example. I think this is from Chouse. It doesn't really matter where it's from because we're not going to buy it. You're not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. This is not a good, and I see a lot of these. These were really in style a few years ago. And when women in my reverse closet edit and wardrobe building bootcamp, which I will link in the description box, and I'll put the link up here as well. When they're doing closet purges, these are the tops that I tell them are the first to go. So it's these tops with a pattern, and then there's a different pattern on the border. These are a hard pass, a hard no. They are very, very matronly looking, partly because they are very out of style. They were in style 10 years ago and they're not at all in style anymore. So these bordered tops are an absolute pass. The next is a little bit more of a broad category and kind of hard for me to differentiate, but these are bad statement tops. And why are they bad statement tops? Because they just are, okay? They just are. These are tops with a lot going on, and the pattern is also bad. So here we go. We've got a cold shoulder top. It's got like a patchwork print on it, and the print is abysmal. It is abysmal. It is so bad. It is a really, really bad print. So it's a bad print. So all of these pieces, I'm going to flash a couple up. I noticed that I picked just the same pattern, but in different styles for some of these. But the pattern is faded. I wanted to call these faded florals, but then I didn't want you to think that all soft colored florals are bad, because they're absolutely not. But these are just like wishy-washy. They look, there's a phrase that my mom uses that I wish existed in English, but they look like they're faded already, like you've washed them, like they're worn, like you've washed them too many times. That is not what you're looking for when you're looking for a muted print. If you've got soft coloring or if you've got low contrast, these are just out of style. These are bad prints combined with bad silhouettes. So these are statement tops, and they generally have a lot going on. So they will have the print, they will have a cold shoulder, they have ties, they have, sometimes embellishments. Absolutely, let's just say no to those. The next category that is a hard pass all the time is a frumpy floral. How do you know when a frumpy floral is a frumpy floral? I'm going to attempt to show you. This first example, this is a frumpy floral. Again, this is a bordered top, right? But the floral itself is not fabulous. The floral is, like it's borderline. Now, if you took this floral and you put it on a very simple button-down silky blouse, it could be fine. But as it is right now, you've got a major clue there. You've got a major clue that this is a bad floral because of the design of the top. This top will make everybody look like they are wearing a cardboard box on the top half of their body. I don't care who you are, how slim your shoulders are, even if you're an orange with lovely, delicate, narrow shoulders, this is going to make us look boxier and bigger. It just is. It is not. That is just not. That's not our friend. That is really bad. This is another example of a bad floral that meets a bad style. So notice that these go hand in hand. So that could be a major clue. If the style doesn't look like the styles from the contemporary brands, that's the long guy. If the style doesn't look like the styles from the contemporary brands, then chances are the floral is also suspect. Chances are the floral is also like, not the best. So not a great floral, not a great pattern. Not a great silhouette. Okay, paisley. People say that I hate paisley, and I think I might have said at one point that paisley is not my favorite, but it really just depends on paisley. This is bad paisley. How can you tell it's bad paisley? Well, it is black and white, and I told you black and white prints were safe except when they're not. But like, look at all the details of this top. So it's like it's a 3/4 length, very basic, like not at all, not interesting, but not classic. So it's not a statement top, but it's not a classic top. It's just, I don't know. It's just not cute. It's not cute. And you can kind of tell by the way they styled it. It's just very blah and boring. Is this awful? No, it's not awful. If you tucked it in and wore a cool jacket over it and whatever, you could absolutely style this so that it's better. But the way it's shown here, it's just not that cute. Now, contrast it or compare it to this paisley dress. This is beautiful. It's cool. It's modern. It's elegant. It's a much more sophisticated print. And that's kind of what I want us to lean into is prints should look expensive. And one of the things that differentiates dated or matronly or bad prints from good prints is that the good prints look expensive. They look artistic. They look sophisticated. They look elegant. They look interesting. They look unique. So they're not basic, and that print was just very basic. This one is beautiful, it's elevated, it's elegant. Even I would wear this paisley because that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about some of the prints that are trending for 2024. They can go in and out of style, and again, leopard and polka dots and stripes never go out of style, but they're all definitely having a moment for spring 2024. So here are some of the trending prints of the year, and I love some of these. Okay, this first one is what I call a postcard or a landscape print. This fancy dress is from Oscar. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful, but this is what I mean by a postcard or landscape print. We haven't seen this type of print since in probably 10 years or so, but I'm here for them. I love them. They're beautiful. And you can see that this is a sophisticated rendition of these prints. We're going to see a bunch of these. Some of them are going to be awesome. Some are going to be awful. But postcard and landscape prints, you want to look for like a nicer, more elegant version of it because that's such a beautiful, it's a statement making print. So if you don't love it, you don't love it. With all prints, if you don't love it, you don't love it, right? Blurred prints. These are back. These have been a thing for a little while, but I like them. I think that they're very interesting and elegant and a little bit eclectic. This is a slip dress with a blurred print on it. You're going to see a lot of different versions of these, but they're kind of like, look like muted watercolors or watercolors where you blended all the colors together. And it's not, and they're not, there's not like a really clear design to them. But I think they're elegant. They're really pretty. They're a great way to maybe ease yourself into prints if you're like, I am not a leopard person. Well, maybe one of these soft blurred prints will be more your thing. Abstract prints, another trend where you're like, is that really what I think it is? And I can't really quite tell what I'm looking at. Like prints where you really can't see the specific features. There's not like a really clear motif on them. Those are a major trend for spring 2024. And again, they might be a good print for those of you who are on the fence about prints in general. Okay, next I want to talk about polka dots. And now I want to say polka dots are safe all the time, but they're not. I can't say that about anything. I wish I could, but I can't. There are good polka dots, and then they're not so good polka dots. In general, I like a bigger polka dot, but it's not the size of the polka dot. That's a personal preference thing. That's not a dated or modern thing. It's really, again, the polka dot and the item and how they combine. So any good polka dot is okay. Let me back up. Good polka dots are simple polka dots, not like that weird top that I had earlier. So they're simple. It's just like the dots, either small dots or big dots, and that's it, right? But it also has to be on a modern piece. So here is a bad polka dot top next to a good polka dot top. I hope you can see the difference between the simple, clean, good polka dot like button down shirt and then the bad polka dot top. Like I feel like this is going to give you pause about some of the things that are being aimed at women over 40, over 50, because they look like the bad version a lot of the time. We want to keep it simple and we want the prints to be clean. Here's a bad polka dot dress and a good polka dot dress. Again, you can kind of see them side by side and you can see why one looks so much more modern. This one is actually from Tahari, I think, the modern shirt dress with a little polka dot on it. So much better, so much better. Is there anything really horrible about the wrap dress? No, it just doesn't look that modern. We're not seeing wrap dresses like this that are fitted like this. Like they just don't look just like this. I know you're like, well, a wrap dress is classic and it's going to be in style forever. Yeah, but there are changes. And this is like a wrap dress from 10 years ago. It's not what a modern wrap dress looks like. Okay, rant over about polka dots. Good and bad florals. A good floral looks expensive. It looks sophisticated. It looks artistic. It looks different and unique and not basic. I love this floral because not only does it have all of my colors in it at one time, I love dark florals, and dark florals are hard to find for those of us who are deep and clear, but I love dark florals, but it's also a rich and more sophisticated looking floral. So that doesn't mean that you can't go for a very simple blue and white floral, or like a floral with white in it and one color, but those are going to be, those you want to keep really simple. But for any other type of floral, you want it to be like rich and sophisticated looking, elegant looking, interesting looking. I'm going to have some good florals pop up here so you can kind of see what elegant, sophisticated florals look like. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to like any of these florals. Again, we're really trying to separate our personal preference from recognizing what's modern and what's not modern, right? So these are some good florals. Now let's look at some examples of bad florals, because I want you to see the difference. These are splashy and loud without being elegant. So they're not loud in the statement making Farm Rio style way, where that's a really modern and artistic print that was clearly created by an artist and by a brand that knows what's going on in style, and it also happens to be a statement. These are bad statement tops. These are bad florals. They're splashy, they're bold, they're colorful, but they're not sophisticated, they're not elegant, they're not modern, they're not chic in any way. So good florals and bad florals. I hope that this helped. If you look for sophistication, if you look for a print where you can say it is totally unique, that's different, that's unique, that's cool, I haven't seen anything like it, that's an example that you might be onto a sophisticated floral. Okay, so if you're looking by yourself, right, and you don't have me there to tell you no and yes and no and yes, first of all, I do have a free private Facebook group, Netta Manley Style VIP. Ask me in the group. When in doubt, ask. Don't buy first and then ask. Ask and then buy, right? But I want to show you some brands that are safe when it comes to prints. These are what I call good print brands. And I want you, even if you're not going to shop these brands, some of them are more expensive, etc. But even if they're not your style, I want you to just spend some time looking at these brands on the Nordstrom website or on any website, because you're going to be training your eye. You'll be figuring out what the good brands are and the bad brands are, and what a good print looks like versus what a bad print looks like. So good print brands include Farm Rio, L'Agence, Alice and Olivia, Free People, Diara Blue, really cool graphic, kind of interesting patterns, 1520, Etro, that was the border dress I just showed you, but they do amazing prints, Mons, what else? Rebecca Valance, Oscar de la Renta. Now, besides the fact that all these brands do prints really, really well, what is another common denominator in all of these brands? They're really, really expensive. However, did I mention Veronica Beard? Veronica Beard is another great one. What if you're looking for a less expensive brand that also does sophisticated prints? They exist. So good brands that have pieces under $100 and often much less than that, Mellow Day. I'm going to show you this dress from Mellow Day. Again, you may not like it or you may love it. This is very, to me, a little bit Farm Rio inspired. This looks like it would be sold at Anthropologie for twice the price, but it is well under $100 and a very modern print. So Mellow Day is one of those brands that has sophisticated prints, but their prices are very reasonable. Astor the Label, lots of great prints. Actually, that's what this brand is. I believe this is Astor the Label. But they have great prints at great prices. Socialite, here's an example of a Socialite dress, great print, great price, very, very cool dress. This dress looks like you bought it on Revolve for $300, but I think it's like $70 or $80. So Socialite has some really good brands. Mango and Topshop and H&M are going to have like those contemporary Zara, those contemporary fast fashion brands. They're going to have great patterns at great prices. Here's a Topshop dress. Topshop, this is a dark floral. This is this dress looks like you bought it at Hill House or whatever for $400, and I think the dress is like $40 or $50. Really good brands, really good modern, really good prints from really good modern brands. More brands include Julia Jordan, Steve Madden, Lost and Wander, which is kind of boho inspired, and Chelsea 28. Those are all brands that have good prints at good prices. Anthropologie is my go-to place for prints, but they tend to be pricey. Okay, check with me brands. These aren't always bad, but they're mostly bad. But they're not always bad, but most of the time they're bad. So if you are interested in buying a print from any of these brands, just check with me. Just check with me. Share the link in the comments below. I will look and I will let you know. Or hop into my Facebook group, even better. Share the picture and tell me what you think. But I would love for you to comment and tell me if you struggle with any of these check with me brands. So they include Halogen. Halogen is Nordstrom's classic line. They can go really right and really wrong depending on the piece. Vince Camuto. I've already talked about Vince Camuto. Don't know what's happening over there. It's like 900 different designers. Some of the pieces are pretty good. Most of them are not. Kobe Halperin, some really good prints. I was really surprised because this is definitely a brand aimed at a mature audience. They have some sophisticated, they are definitely a higher end brand, definitely a more expensive brand. Some good prints, some horrible prints. Karen Kane, mostly bad. Some of the bad examples are Karen Kane, Chouse. Chouse had some awful, like mostly all awful, but maybe there's an occasional good one. Estelle, it's a plus brand that has bad prints. That's the floral dress I showed you. No. Liverpool, what is going on with Liverpool? I think we need to not be shopping Liverpool. I don't know. I'm so sorry to say that, but I just think they've got some good jeans, but their tops are just really not cute. Sanctuary, I used to love Sanctuary, but a lot of their prints are very highly suspect this season. And then Eliza J. Proceed with caution. I am here for you. I am your fashion friend. My goal is to help you find cool modern prints for those of you who want to wear cool modern prints, and for the rest of you to get you into a striped top. Let's just buy a striped top for spring already. So I hope that you enjoyed my animated take on spring 2024 prints. What's in, what's out, how to tell the difference between a sophisticated print and a dated matronly print. This video has been long enough, so I'm going to sign off now and just remind you to please don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so we can keep hanging out. I will be doing more videos on prints because it's impossible to cover it all in just one video. And don't forget to comment below. Let me know your biggest print question, conundrum. I'm here for you. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.